So we're here today to discuss the network of you, which is our concept of how everyone and everything interconnected in the networked world relates to information management, security, and integrity of information. What does that mean for commerce? What does that mean for national security, personal security, integrity, and opportunity in the enterprise?
The big takeaway is that when we talk about the network of you, that we are all the you, but in the case of individuals, and that in privacy we're talking about personal information, the nature of personal information is changing, what it means, how it can or should be used, that all of those yous are redefining those rules in partnerships with the organizations that have that information. So there's really multiple yous at the center driving change and rewriting and renegotiating the yous in a very participatory fashion.
The technology alone can never solve a privacy or a business habit that is broken. Never. And that's coming from an IT company. We cannot solve the problem alone. That said, technology married to people, processes, and ways of looking at and doing business can solve, and I think that's the wrong word is solve actually, and so I'll reach for another one, which is improve on the opportunities that we have to interrelate to each other. I think the biggest barrier that organizations face and governments face in protecting personal information is that every business unit, every separate organization has its own way of interrelating to personal data. You have employees, you have customers, you have citizens, and so it's never going to be a place that the Chief Privacy Office alone has a hand in governing. And I think that's always going to be a challenge, and quite honestly should always be a challenge. I think where we're going is there's got to be a way to consolidate all of the management that happens horizontally in an organization so that you can present the CEO, the leader of government, enough information so that that individual can lead, that individual can make choices that affect all of these various business units and caretakers of personal data that are sprinkled throughout an organization.
Who bears the responsibility? Let's talk about who's accountable. So organizations that collect, hold, and use, store personal information are absolutely accountable. They're accountable on a fundamental ethical perspective, from a trust perspective in the relationship both with their employees as well as their customers or their customers' customers in our case. But ultimately, if we take that concept of the network of you as participatory, it's all of us are responsible. So we as individuals have a responsibility or an accountability to know what our choices are. Do we have choices to act on that, or to, frankly, to complain, to make an issue of that? Governments play a role either to set the guardrails, to get at the fringe behaviors, to limit or eliminate that. So ultimately, there's mutual accountability and mutual responsibility. But it starts with the organizations that have that information, that they're protecting it and managing it responsibly.
I think one of the major call to actions here is community involvement, and that's community of enterprise, government, and users of systems, technologies, and participating in the economy. And what that means is really taking a look at how we are protecting, segmenting, looking at information creation, and thinking about it in a whole new way. There's a side of asset protection that's a risk management opportunity that has to happen, and then there's a wild, vast environment of opportunity, both for technology creation, solutions that have yet to be invented, but also a new way of controlling and maintaining information about individuals. It really is the network of you. And that was the takeaway, is let's start this discussion so that we can be in a place 50 years from now to look back and say, we built this infrastructure in a very solid way, and now look how valuable it is to our cultures, to our countries, to our business concerns, and to ourselves.